What's up? How you guys been doing? It's been a minute. So hey, I got the garage cleaned out, got the rock crawler on the side of the house, and then got some material here. Now I'm not sure why I bought all this stuff. I was gonna do something with it, and then I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna use it for a new project I got. All right, so I don't know if you guys remember the new truck. I haven't really posted it much. I did a video about it on the YouTube, but not really on Instagram. But this is the new truck, right? So short bed, got the extended cab. So my little camper that I built, I'm not gonna use it no more because I'm gonna build like a platform for the back of this. But I'm gonna build a bed rack for the back. So yeah, so it's gonna be kind of like 45-degree bars, because I like the look. They're only gonna be up like 12 inches tall and then go across. And so the main reason is like, you know, for lighting and, you know, have a big bright light for backing up and, you know, like something to hold the propane bottles, you know, just camping stuff, you know, and then I'll sleep in the cab because it'll be comfortable. Anyway, so I don't have the winch mount on right now. It's in the garage, but yeah, so we're gonna get busy. Just keep updating it. All right, so on this bed rack we're gonna make, so where it goes attaches to the bed, I'm gonna do a plate on the top, right? I'm not gonna run a big piece of angle down the whole thing and do all that shit because it's just like too much weight. Like, you know, like we could super overbuild this thing, but like we don't need it. Like we're not putting a tent on there, we're not hauling a bunch of stuff. Like it's gonna have some lighting, you know, maybe like high lift jack, you know, shovel stuff, you know, just camping stuff, you know what I mean? But so we don't need like all that beef, even though like the way I'm gonna build it, you know, you could put all that stuff on and like it'd still be fine. Got these plates chilling on here, and then I ended up using existing holes that were in the bed, so now I know that my bolts are even on all sides. So I just had, the holes are already there, I just had to like widen them up a little bit and then drill through this little plastic liner. So so those are all good. Now I just got to get my tubes up here, figure out where I'm gonna put them, and then do my measurements, and then that way I can do my crossbars across the tops. All right, so here it is, tacked up on the truck. So everything, like they're perfectly like the same, like between the front and the back, and then measured it off a couple of points, and then we measured across like center tube to center tube. Oh, sorry, center tube to center tube. And then now we can take it off. We know our measurements. We can build it in the garage, and then bust our tacks loose, and then we just set it right down on the plates, and then weld it up. Be good to go. All right. Well, the crossbars are tacked in. It's crazy. I just cut them and kind of just chamfered the edges, and I decided to set them on here, and they fit perfect. So I tacked this rear one up. I took the front one off and I tacked it on the ground, and it surprisingly it went back in the holes. But anyways, yeah, now I'm just gonna take it back off. I'm gonna tack it across this so it doesn't move, and then just burn it, and then be good to go, man. I think it came out all right. I mean, looks pretty cool. I measured it front to back, and I'm really only off like right around an eighth, like front to back, and everything in the front like is pretty good. So I mean, got the sidebars up on there, and then on these trucks here, the front of the bed is wider than the back of the bed, which is kind of interesting. So the way that this bar, I put these bolts straight so they set in a little bit on the front bar, which isn't really a big deal. And I think that this tube is big enough, like, I mean, it's schedule 40. I think it's 2-inch schedule 40, I think. So it's pretty thick, you know, it's like a little more than 1/8, I would think. So anyways, it's big enough to where you can mount some brackets off of it, and, you know, whatever you like wanted to do. So that's kind of why I used it, and it's big, so it looks good on the 2500. And then here's the other side. So I'm gonna try to get this thing off of here without damaging anything, and then I'll burn the rest of it in, and we just go from here. I've been welding a little bit, so I've just got a little bit of each to do up here on the top, so you can see that there. With something like this, I don't want moving around, you know. I'll do like a little bit over an inch, 1.5 weld, then I'll move to the next side, and then just kind of, you know, go around as I go. And then, so we're gonna do the gussets. So I want to talk a little bit more about why and what I'm thinking with them. So, you know, we'll do one here, do a nice triangle, and then it'll do two things. One, you know, it helps support it. It'll have a hole in it to where all of them will have a hole to where you can like strap something or, you know, like utility purposes. And then I'm going to have the lights mounted up underneath them. So that way when I flip the switch, it'll be all lit up. And then, you know, I could be back here cooking or doing whatever. And then I've got a light bar that I've had for a while. It's going to mount in the very back, kind of, you know, above the tailgate. So that way when I'm backing up out there, it'll be bright. All right. Got the gussets cut, so that's kind of how they're going to be, just kind of even with the top of the tube, you know. And then they'll have like a, you know, a good size hole to where you can put like a ratchet strap or something on it, and then be enough area to mount my lights up in there. And it'll be good, you know. Like the more stuff we have on here to, you know, hook something to or mount something to, you know, the better. And then I've got these guys right here, and they're gonna just kind of do that kind of thing. And then there'll be a hole in here as well. And then that way, you know, you can hang something on when you're at camp, or if you know, tying something else down, you know, who knows, you know. But anyway, so then it'll give this more support and then more areas to strap things down. So, all right, fellas, it wouldn't be a true overland rack if it didn't have a light bar on it. But it's dark in the desert, you gotta have some lights. Anyhow, so decided to put this light bar on the back, and that's really the reason I built the whole rack, is just to put the light bar on it. But anyhow, just tap the tube for some 7/16 bolts, and then yeah, so we got a light bar, and then the roof, the awning's gonna go on the opposite side of that, down low, or up top, I guess. But yeah, I'm waiting for OnTrack to come to bring me my awning. It'll probably be late tonight, but you know, anyhow. And then in the front, burn those guys on there. So the awning showed up, so now we can get going with making brackets. And you know, of course, went with an ARB. It's nice. It's got a nice protective coating on it, and it's just better than the cheap ones. So even though this one wasn't that expensive, I think it was like $250 or something like that. But this is just like the 49-incher. Almost like I built the rack knowing I was getting this, you know what I mean? Anyhow, so let's flip it over. I'll show you how it mounts since I didn't know. So so that's it. So it's just this nice channel here, and then it's just got some square head bolts that go up in there to slide in the track. And then there's 3 for each side, and then they're just little guys. I'll show them to you. So these guys right here, and then they just slip up in the rail like that. And then now we get to build some brackets. All right, so on the brackets for this, I think I'm gonna put my gussets up that I was gonna use. And so like the feet of this thing is 1/4, and then the gussets I'm using is 1/8, and I think 1/8 will be just fine. This thing only weighs like 35 pounds. You know, I think it'll be plenty. So, you know, it'll, I'm gonna make my bracket to where I think it just like bolts to the gusset on both sides, and then I think that would be adequate for it, you know. And then like just run like 2 bolts through each one, and then it'll have 3 to hold the awning, and I think that would be copacetic, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a little awning. It weighs like 35 pounds, so I think that'll be fine. I don't think I need to use like 1/4 inch or anything like that, so I think it'll be cool. So let's see what we can come up with. We got to build some brackets. Here we go. Well, the awning's up on there. I think it kind of looks all right. It's kind of hanging down, covering the tube a little bit, so it looks really good from the back. And then you know it's gonna have a light bar under it. And then let me show you what I did with these brackets here. So I had 2 pieces that I cut for something of this 1/4 inch, so 2 identical pieces. So I was like, shoot. So I just cut a little groove in it, bent it up, and then I got a couple triangle gussets, some 1/8 inch that I'm gonna run on either side, just to beef it up, even though like 1 would probably be sufficient, but we'll do 2. And then yeah, I think it looks all right. I mean, it does, you know, I mean, it's up a little bit from the side, but I'm gonna have some like cargo boxes up here, you'll see later. And I think it looks all right, man. I kind of dig it. So I got it here last few days, been working pretty hard on it, and it's done really. I just got it up on the truck, and I busted the tacks loose on this side, made sure that everything was fitting properly, you know, the bolts would go in nice and easy, and then retacked them. So now all I got to do is just burn the feet on, kind of clean them up, and then kind of clean up the whole thing, and then paint it, you know what I mean? So show you what I did here. The brackets, so it's just quarter and then 1/8 for the deal. You can see my holes are nice and straight. But anyways, 2 3/8 bolts on either side, and then the awning mounts up to that. All right, let me show you over here what I did. The high lift jack on here, because like I think the high lift gives you your best chance of getting out of kind of a sticky situation if you need it. Like if you can't use the winch, you know, you could potentially use this. Anyhow, so yeah, so it fit across, and I just needed to make some kind of rugged brackets. So these are 1/4 inch, you know, they kind of, this one wraps around the tube, you know, connects it here, and then this one zips all the way down. And then the same thing over there. And then what I did is I put like a little perch on there. So then that way, you know, when you're done recovering, you're all tired and shit, it's dark, you just set it up there, and then you just pop your bolt up in there, you know what I'm saying? So anyhow, that's it. I don't know if I'm gonna add to it, we'll see. Maybe traction boards, I don't know, do I need them? Shit, who knows? I've never used them before, but maybe. All right, well, she's coming along, so everything's all welded, and just hit it with a couple coats of black, but I gotta stick over it again a little bit more, and then flip it over and get the bottom side pretty good. But yeah, I think it came out all right. So yeah, so tomorrow I'll get out here, get it painted. Then I gotta put another coat of paint on my winch mount, because I don't know, it didn't look good all glossy on the other truck because it had a flat bumper, so I kind of scuffed it up. But I want to like paint it and make it nice on this truck since it's got a painted bumper. So yeah, so we'll do that tomorrow. It is a beautiful day to be working on the truck, so there's it out in the light. That's what she's looking like. And then I'll walk you up here, I'll show you the winch bumper, or the winch mount. There she is, got the lights all wired up, so that's all good. And then, you know, it's kind of sort of matches anyways. All right, well, I got a little break in the wind, so we're out here in the wildlife preserve. And really, you can like camp anywhere, and there's lots to explore. So I've only just kind of done a little bit. So me Gracie here, the new pupper. She looks sweet right now, but she is wild. But anyhow, so we got the rack up on here, and then got the jack mounted, and then I got the awning out. So hopefully the wind isn't messing up this video too much, but it's pretty, it don't look like much, but you know, when you get up right underneath it, sun's off of you, you can sit down, chill, open up the tailgate, do some cooking. So we're shaking it down. We're gonna do a camp trip probably soon, just like an overnighter. But maybe this week, end of this week, next week, something like that. So I'm enjoying my day off, turn the phone off. I'm worried about shit, you know what I'm saying? So anyhow, I'm just gonna kick back and chill for a second, then we're gonna go do some more exploring, see what else we can find.